Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is just a little bit of the latest happenings that's been happening around here to do with my photography anyway. It's interesting when you're a photographer, all sorts of things come your way. People share things with you, loan things to you, give things to you and whatever. And so last week has been a bit interesting in that I've bumped into a friend of mine walking around the block the other day, whose late husband John. I'll put a link to a video I did when John and I went on an outing photographing birds one day. I'll put a link under that. But John was an enthusiast. Di is his wife, and I bumped into Di the other day. John was an enthusiast about all things, mainly model trains, but also cameras, video, film cameras, film movie cameras, hi-fi systems, TV systems. He was very much an enthusiast. And when he died, I was able to buy one of his digital SLR cameras, a Nikon one from Di, which was nice, and I still have that. But the other day when I bumped into her, we were talking about, I was taking my Pentax Super A camera with me on the walk, and she bumped into me and asked me about it, so I told her what was going on. You've already just probably seen the recent video I did on that Pentax Super A. Anyway, she said, oh, there's still a lot of stuff up in the cupboard or up on top of the shelf in there, old films and things that I'm just going to take them to the tip one day. And I said, well, don't do that. Let me know what you've got. And she said, okay, I'll go home and I'll bring it round. So she brought it back, and she brought back this bag full of stuff. And anyway, some goodies in there. The main thing of interest, I could show you the whole lot. That there's slides and empty slide holders, glass slide holders that you can put in your projector and all that sort of stuff. And movie film splices and a few other things, I think. Anyway, I won't go through the whole lot, but the most interesting things that I came across were these here. And these are 126 cartridge 20 exposures, unopened boxes. And the price that John paid for these at the chemist back in about because the use by date on this is, I'll tell you in a minute, 1976, December 76. So the price that he paid for these was $1.27 for one of these. Now this is a 126 cartridge Ricoh pan, black and white, 20 exposures. And there it is there. So there's 3 of these in there. They haven't been opened. And these seem to be in demand. I looked up the price for them so there's 3 of those, because you really can't buy this stuff new anymore. You can adapt 35mm film. If you've got an empty one of these cartridges, you can put 35mm film in them. And I looked at some of the prices for these films, particularly colour ones and black and white, and there seems to be quite a demand for them, or there's high prices being asked. And I thought, well, what would you do with one of these black and white films? You can probably, because it's black and white chemistry, you could probably take that out and process it yourself. The ones I saw online were only 12 exposures. These are 20 exposures. And then the other one here, which is probably fairly useless these days, because I don't know that you can actually develop this anymore, is this one here, which is a Kodak Ektachrome colour film for slides. And that has 20 exposures as well. And that expiry date is, when was it? August 19... got much light in here. August 1975, I think. Anyway, so there you go. There's some looks like expired movie film in there as well, and a few other things, and a 35mm expired film that I could probably put in one of my cameras. But I thought I might put these on the market in the local Australian Gumtree market and see what happens, and then give the money back to Di and her girls. So we'll see what happens with that. So that's a little bit of news. The other thing is I've been toying with the idea of, well, not toying, I'm progressing down that track of learning how to fix cameras myself. And there's a learning camera Facebook page and you can download this manual on how to learn to fix cameras. And so I'm progressing into that, having a look. I've been looking at YouTube videos about how to fix cameras. In particular, this one here is, I've got a couple of these, the Yashica Minister D, and I've done a review of this in the past, but the problem with this one at the moment is you wind it on and the shutter won't open and shut or whatever. And I found out that there's a fairly simple way of fixing it if I'm game enough. So in the back here, you can see there's a lens in there, and you can unscrew that lens from the back. And then the idea is also that you can take these lenses off at the front, and you get to the shutter mechanism and the leaf shutter and whatever, and you can actually free that up. They say that it's all sort of gummed up with over the years, and it's frozen up, and you can set them free, and you only have to get in through there and in through the back to fix that. So I'm going to have a go at that when I get round to it, amongst other things. And then the other day in my photography group, three cameras came along. One lady had a mini DV video camera, which she couldn't get to go. So anyway, she had a mini DV camera and a very nice little pocket digital camera. And the only problem I found out, I brought the brochure home for the mini DV camera, and it turns out that I think the only thing she's missing from that is it takes an SD card so you can record still photos to it. But she couldn't get hold of any mini DV tapes, which I've got some here, so I'm going to supply one of those to her and get her to stoke that up and see if she can get that going. Other gentlemen in our group brought in this one to show me, which is a Nikon FE, I think it is. I think that's what it's called. And it's a beautiful camera, and it's almost in mint condition. And he said he used to use it professionally in his work years ago. He was a school teacher, and he used to use this in doing shots with it. It's got a beautiful lens on the front there, which is a, let's have a look and see. It's a Nikon 35-70 f3.5 zoom lens, which I believe is quite a nice lens. But the problem with this one is that when you look through there, you can't see a thing. And I opened it up, and that's because the mirror is locked up, and you can push the mirror down, and there's a little lever over here on the side, so you can actually push this little lever, and so now the mirror is down, but in the normal position it's stuck upwards. And if I press the shutter now, hang on, got to move the lever out there to fire it, but it shuts again, it does, and you can't see it. So that's a problem. I looked up a YouTube video of a guy who was fixing that one, and he said these are wonderful cameras, but they're very hard to fix. And he was having not so much fun with that. But I'm going to talk to him. He's gone on a holiday now, so I'm going to talk to him when he comes back and see. I think it's worth fixing this one. It's a beautiful camera, nice and chunky and solid, good old school camera. I'll let you know how I go with my learning how to fix old cameras project. Another one, I thought, I've got heaps of cameras here that I can still do reviews on, and one I've got here, it's stashed away in all my archives here somewhere, in all my storage space here, is this one here. This is the instruction manual that I downloaded. This is the Ricoh Auto 35mm half frame camera, and I've got all the instructions there. And hang on, I'll just take this off, and I'm hoping to get that out one day, reasonably soon maybe, and do a review of it. That's what it looks like there, and it's got a clockwork motor drive built into it, which is quite unique. And I've seen reviews of this camera on the internet, and I've got a film in it, but I haven't, like most of my cameras, I've got film in them, but I haven't finished them. So I've got to finish that film. You can still get that processed, and I'm going to do that. So that's a little bit of some of the latest news around here. I am going to put these cartridges up on Gumtree, and I'll let you know, or maybe you can keep a lookout for them, but within the next couple of days I think I'll put them up and see what sort of response we get. and so you might be interested in that. So if you want to comment about any of the things I've said today, let me know. One of the things I'm thinking of giving a talk about really on here is I keep reading about all sorts of people, photographers and otherwise, talking about the imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome. What does that mean? Does that mean that you're just pretending that you're someone else or whatever? I don't know really, but I'm going to look into that, and I've got some thoughts about it. I have actually looked into it and looked up a few definitions, so I've got some thoughts about doing a bit of a video on the imposter syndrome. So let me know if you want me to do that. And thanks for watching. Like if you like, and I'll see you next time. Incidentally, I just downloaded a new version of Cameo, and I can't get it to talk to my computer. I'm just recording this straight from the iPhone at the moment. Normally I hook up the iPhone to Camo and Camo on my iMac and Zoom on my iMac, and then I can film without having to record anything on the phone, but I'm having trouble with that. So if anyone can comment on that, who's watching, who's a Camo person, let me know. So sorry about that. That's just another little thing. There's always something, isn't there? So thanks for watching. Like if you like, and I'll see you next time. See you later.